Well, since I have a YouTube station, I wanna to go and to say something. The United States Congress, passed a bill called the Protecting Intellectual Rights Against Theft and Expropriation Act, the Pirate Act, and I condemn the passing of this act. You know, I'm mad. I'm incredibly mad at this and what's going on here, and what's gone on, with the 2019. This bill went through, and it so it passed the Senate and it became the law. And this bill is a terrible bill. You know, yeah. I mean, they just sailed right through Congress. So vote Cuse Vane Tudos. Fuck them all. So basically, the 411 here about why I'm so upset is that whose interest does this new act that increases fines on pirate radio broadcasters truly serve? Is the question that we need to ask. And the truth of that matter is that after the Telecommunications Act of 1996 passed into law, Cumulus and then Clear Channel, now iHeartRadio, decided to buy up almost every single station in America. Clear Channel became so unpopular for this action, and their stations being of such, shall we say, shit tier quality, of being the dumpster fires of, stations that they actually are, that there was a significant consumer backlash against Clear Channel, who was hate soloed by the public, so they decided to change their name to iHeartRadio, as if rebranding helps anything. I don't heart radio. I hate radio. I hope radio fails. I hope that it fails spectacularly, epically, and that, and I don't just mean epically as the way that we underuse that term. I mean truly epically. I hope it is one massive, explosive, epic, catastrophe, that leads to the complete loss of everything that is still owned by Cumulus and iHeartRadio, until there's nothing left of either company. And they after the Telecommunications Act, they were able to buy up almost the entire broadcasting spectrum. In some cities, they own every single station in town. What this means, in effect, is that the only real voice of any community happens to be the pirate radio. If there is a pirate radio in the station in the area, that is the only real voice that you're going to ultimately get in your community. That otherwise, it's going to be the corporate slop of shit tier quality. So whose interest does it serve, the Pirate Act, to increase fines on pirate broadcasting? Not you, not me if you're watching this. Not you if you're watching this, not me. It only serves the interest of these people who keep promulgating and polluting our airwaves with the garbage and the filth that they're broadcasting every single fucking day, 24/7. The pirates are the good guys. Those who are trying to crack down on us, and the pirates are those who are trying to crack down on the pirates and are trying to crack down on these kinds of broadcasts, are the villains in the story. If you're a sitting member of Congress who supported this bill, you are not a good person. You are standing with the villains in this story. The pirates were the good guys, and you're cracking down on them. You're monsters. What I see in you is a demon who has somehow shapeshifted into the shape of a man, but I recognize you for what you are: demonic filth. You're not a person. you're a demon, you know? And that's how I feel. They have allowed these assholes to buy up, almost the entire FM broadcast spectrum, and now they are policing anybody who decides to resist and fight back. Dear Congress, get wrecked. If somebody manages to take a shot at you and eliminate you from the gene pool so that you die an early death, and I get on that jury, I will vote not guilty no matter how much evidence they have against them, because you cannot murder what isn't human. And you're not a human being. You are not allowed to sit at the human table with the rest of us because you supported this bill. And you and your membership supported the vile, disgusting tragedy in 1996. Neoliberalism is a hell of a drug. The boosters of the Telecommunications Act of 1996 said that it would increase competition, but if you looked at the plain text of the bill, it was easy to see that what it really did was eliminate all the ownership limitations that prevented one, corporation from owning too much of the broadcast spectrum. So for the record, what happened is that Cumulus and iHeartRadio decided to gobble up almost everything they possibly could and everything in sight. And then, they started downsizing the local DJs and starting bringing over everything to one syndicated broadcast locally. They fired all the people that would go and put interesting songs on or, local artists on the radio. And then, it became this awful shit tier quality radio became the uniform experience for the American people. So, fuck you, Congress. Fuck the Senate. And, for this one, the pirates are the good guys. You are the bad guys in this, and I've had enough of this shit, Like, we need more pirates on the radio because that is the only voice that we're going to have in our communities, not less of them.